On Trending tonight, our big focus, India's air emergency. The air quality in Delhi has fallen so badly already that the government's graded response action plan came into effect last Monday. Farm fires in Punjab and Haryana, a major concern, expected to get worse in the weeks to come. But this is not about Delhi or NCR alone. NDTV has accessed up-to-date analysis that shows Mumbai, in fact, is seeing levels worse this time, air quality levels that are worse than it's seen in the last 2 years. Pollution levels right now are as bad as they've been in the last 3 years in cities like Delhi, Kanpur and Lucknow. We'll be talking about all of that in much greater detail. But also today, SAFAR, in fact, issued a warning saying avoid all physical activity outdoors, stop outdoor activities, particularly at early morning and after sunset. It went on to say, don't burn either wood or candles or even incense indoors. Now, that's going to be difficult to follow, especially in festival season, and close all room windows. So all of those pointers being given by SAFAR. This is a government agency literally warning us now to have very different lives from what we do right now. So let's take a look at Delhi, which woke up actually to its season's peak in terms of PM10 levels. My colleague Alicia with that story. Let's take a look. Thursday morning. This is one of India's 2 severely polluted areas. Pollution levels recorded in many parts of Delhi were 5 to 7 times over the safe limit. The rising pollution over the last few weeks has led to more emergency hospital admissions of children. Doctors say the worst is yet to come.
Past 1 month, there is almost 30% rise in the cough and cold and respiratory problems. And not only the patients who were suffering from like asthma or some chronic ailment, but normal patients are also complaining of lot of cough.
However, the municipality controlled by the BJP blames the Aam Aadmi Party government in Delhi for inaction.
दिल्ली गवर्नमेंट को 1000 करोड़ रुपया जो पॉल्यूशन लेवल कम करने के लिए उनको फंडिंग हुई थी सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट से और उनके अपनी फंडिंग के में भी थी, लेकिन उन्होंने सिर्फ 93 लाख रुपीस उसमें इस्तेमाल किया.
The sources of pollution are all around. Dust contributes 17%. Vehicles, especially diesel ones, 28%, and stubble burning another 4%.
I'm standing close to what was Delhi's most polluted spot this morning. Already plagued by emissions from vehicles and dust, burning this effigy on the occasion of Dussehra is only set to make pollution levels spike further. This is Alicia Sachdev reporting from New Delhi for NDTV.
Let's take this straight across to our panel tonight. Arunabha Ghosh, CEO of Council for Energy, Environment and Water, also member of the Environment Pollution Prevention Control Authority, or EPCA, is with us this evening. Saurabh Bhasin, the lawyer who filed the PIL on Diwali firecrackers, among other things, in the court, is also with us. Siddharth Singh, author of The Great Smog of India, who's been looking into air pollution in great detail, is with us, as is Akshay Marathe of the Aam Aadmi Party. But let me begin with you first, Arunabha. You know, the EPCA was formed in 1998 by order of the Supreme Court to protect and improve the quality of not just Delhi, but also its surrounding areas. So many years down the line, has it succeeded in its mandate, or has it really failed? I mean, if we're looking today at Delhi's air pollution levels being no different from what they were this time last year or the year before that, then, you know, how has the EPCA performed?
The short answer, Ankita, is that we've not managed to reduce the pollution that that is the mandate. I have been a member of the EPCA exactly for 2 weeks as of 4th of October. But the point is, we have to take this on a war footing. This is not to say that efforts have not been made. This is not to say that reports have not been filed to the Supreme Court. This is the second year that the Graded Response Action Plan has come into force. There's a comprehensive action plan that has also been finalized. The detail will lie in the enforcement of all the things that have been listed.
Can you honestly say, though, that we are better prepared to deal with the situation this year than we were in previous years? As you say, the second year of the graded response plan being in action. But, you know, do we also have a precise idea as to the extent to which policies, including, for instance, the odd even traffic rule, has actually worked?
Compared to previous years, I would say in certain respects we are better prepared. For instance, the Eastern Peripheral Expressway is already operational. The Western Peripheral Expressway will be operational by the end of this month. So hopefully all the non-destined trucks for New Delhi, for the Delhi NCR area can be bypassed. There have been more mechanized road sweepers that have been purchased. There have been more water sprinklers that have been purchased. There have been directives issued for the road dust for the prevention of waste burning. About 700, several brick kilns that were not using the zigzag technology will not be permitted to be functional in the Delhi NCR area.
Okay.
But that does not mean that we will automatically change this situation overnight.
Okay, fair enough. That's a realistic assessment and perhaps a very honest and candid one. But Saurabh Hussain, we were talking earlier and you said, you know, there's a certain sense of deja vu and fatigue when it comes to these months of the year. October, November, this is when, you know, the television studios certainly sit up and take notice. When you step outside, you can't breathe anymore. And, you know, we have these inevitable debates and discussions. But, you know, pollution is a year-round problem. And actually this winter, we have two plans in place, the Graded Action Response Plan as well as the round-the-year plan. Why is it that the air quality shows no difference at all, despite, you know, all those lists, that entire list that has been enumerated by Aruna Pajista?
Well, I think a large part of it has got to do with the fact that we tend to wake up around October and think that we're going to now start implementing measures to fix it. It is, like you said, a year-long issue. It's throughout there. We see it a lot more. We feel it a lot more now. But we need to take this on throughout the year all the time and do a lot more than we do right now. I mean, I'm glad to hear the fact that EPCA is saying that what they've done isn't necessarily worked and is clearly not enough to make the situation better. I mean, even from, you know, I'm glad actually to see that you're actually calling this an India event now, because for the last few years, it had always been a Delhi-centric issue, and it isn't. It is an absolute national health emergency. There are 550 million people who live in the northern Ganges belt. This is a huge issue to deal with, and it needs a national level intervention. It needs for us, it needs the Delhi government, it needs the central government, it needs the municipality. It's shocking to hear the fact that blame game constantly keeps played and the people who suffer is us. So jaded, yes.
Okay, so that, you know, you've talked about in your book, The Great Smog of India, you talk about how more Indians are killed every week by air pollution than have been killed in all the India-Pakistan wars put together since independence. Now, that really sort of puts it into context, and it's that kind of shocking statistic that should sort of jerk all of us out of our slumber. But to take on this point, you know, is it okay to just have a graded action plan for Delhi and sort of surrounding states? You know, air doesn't respect state boundaries, and clearly air pollution doesn't either.
Absolutely. I think one of the key issues about air pollution is how it, like you said, does not respect political boundaries. It does not respect administrative, jurisdictions. It does not respect a lot of these various structures that we have put into place to combat this problem. Now, you asked Arunabha, for example, what EPCA has done and how EPCA has been successful. While EPCA is, doing what it is, there are so many different agencies which are involved in the management of this problem, or, deal with this problem in various ways. The issue is that their response has not been coordinated in any fashion. There is no overarching umbrella policy, like, China has the Blue Skies initiative. There is no overarching umbrella policy which can coordinate all these efforts across the various sectors of the economy. And one key aspect that we forget, like even if EPCA was successful, even if odd and even was successful, unfortunately this part of India lies in, there's something which I refer to as the meteorological misfortune in my book. The problem is that due to the various meteorological and geographical aspects or realities of this region, certain temperature, atmospheric inversion takes place, due to which all the pollutants that are emitted basically get stuck in this part of the in the country.
So in effect, actually, it's not as though farm fires are sort of specific to North India in particular, because there are other places which also do stubble burning, including parts of the United States, California being one example. But there are guidelines that are followed there that seem to be able to counter that. So why can't similar guidelines be followed here? Wind direction, looking at the way the wind is blowing, and therefore stubble burning only on those days. Why are these things that something that can't be implemented here?
As things stand, the kind of stubble burning that takes place in, say, California and the kind that takes in India is very different. So in terms of spatial scale, it may be the same, but the fact is that due to the time of the year that this happens, and due to the fact that it happens in this 2 or 3 week period, this is what makes it very unique. And India has this unique the rice wheat cropping system, which over 80% of the region the farming takes place under this RWCS, and this is also a result of recent agricultural policies. It's not something that's been around for thousands of years. It's literally just a few decades old, and this kind of I think artificially constructed agricultural practices is what is causing this problem.
Fair enough. But Arunabha, to get back to that point about EPCA not being able to work in isolation and this needing to be a political priority, a citizen's priority, as much as it is something that a Supreme Court mandated body like the EPCA is doing, how does this battle then become a larger fight where everyone's on board? I mean, clearly it's not enough of a political priority.
Ankita, just to clarify, the EPCA is a central government constituted authority, and it does coordinate with the other agencies that are represented on the EPCA. I am a non-governmental member of the EPCA. So there are municipal commissioners involved, there's the Delhi traffic involved, etc. So there is no doubt there has to be coordination in the implementation of the rules. The EPCA is responsible for the graded response action plan, but the implementation of the rules is done by these respective agencies, and that then brings us into the other surrounding states and the regions as well. So the point about coordination and this to be a national priority is absolutely spot on. And we have to not think of air quality as either an environmental issue alone. It's a public health issue. It's an economic productivity issue. Right. Nor can we think of air quality only as a seasonal matter, and nor can we think of it as a sub-regional matter. It is a national issue that is impacting our public health, it is impacting our economic productivity, and it is impacting us all year round.
Fair enough. Akshay, tell us at this point, because the Delhi government really gets a lot of flack about this, and we've also heard the Delhi government on occasion say it's not our problem alone. There are lots of factors that are being contributed by other states, and therefore it's not something we'd be able to tackle even if we wanted to. Now, is it sort of all right to then wash our hands off it altogether?
No, we're not at all washing our hands off it. In fact, it's against our interest to wash our hands off it. We are also citizens of Delhi. We suffer from the same problems that all of, everyone on this panel, everyone in the city is suffering from. All that we always say whenever this happens, even last year, even the year before that, is that throughout the year, although Delhi has a pollution problem, the fact of the matter is that the reason NDTV is doing a debate now is that today is when it has become hazardous. Yes. And today is when the crop burning fire, the crop smog has actually reached the city. So if we are able to identify this problem correctly, then it's upon all of us to put pressure on the right governing bodies. So if you are saying that the problem does lie outside of Delhi, then it's important to keep Punjab, Haryana and the centre accountable, because last year I completely admit candidly that every government was caught.
Are you shifting blame? Because Punjab will then turn around and say, there's only so much we can do. We had the Punjab Chief Minister, in fact, giving us an interview saying that, his sympathies lie with the farmers and there are larger issues to be seen.
No, everyone's sympathies lie with the farmer. But the fact of the matter is, after this happened last year, the centre actually did give a 1500 crores subsidy to all these states around Delhi, which has this problem. And today, if you look at all the statistics of how much of the subsidy has been distributed to farmers, you'll find that it's a very bleak and abysmal figure. Why is it that the Punjab Chief Minister can come on national television?
I have to argue at this point, even if the subsidies were given, what is to say that they wouldn't take the subsidies and still do the stubble burning? Because that's something that's been done traditionally for, hundreds of years.
No, I'm not saying that therefore the farmers have to be held accountable. I'm saying that therefore if the government has given subsidy, then it's up to these state governments to take more punitive action if necessary, get awareness drives in place in these states. But you cannot come on national television and say, despite the NGT order, despite everything, my sympathies lie with the farmer. That's not what a chief minister is supposed to do.